Red 2 standing by, all for lit and in the green. Welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh! The Falsebound Kingdom. And as I've mentioned, there is more to do with this game. Not only can we go back through Yugi's and Kaiba's stories to get certain monsters, but you'll be realizing that there are lots of monsters we haven't actually encountered yet. So, what we need to do is load game. Because, you guessed it, we've got a third story. This is a prequel story that tells us what Joey was up to in the events leading up to his joining Yugi in Chapter 7 of Yugi's story. So why don't we take this one on? This is of course where we get to see Ra involved. Chapter 1, Raid. Behind the scenes, yet another duelist was fighting for a way out. Joey Wheeler. This is what happened to Joey before he met up with Yugi and learned about Scott. Joey, wake up! Joey, wake up! Just a few minutes more, Mom. Oh man, I can't let her know I've been drinking Tristan's homebrew again. That stuff is an absolute killer. Oh, my head. Mom? Joey, what's the deal, boss? Why'd you fall asleep like that? Come on, boss, snap out of it. We ain't done talking yet. Huh? What do you want? You can't just go to sleep like that. We've got to plan the next move for the Black Dragon Squad. Come on, pull yourself together, boss. You're the best we've got. Now you might recognize these two. They are Giselle and Malairica, the opponents we defeated in Chapter 1 of Kaiba's story. You might be putting the pieces together. Boss, what the heck are you talking about? And what's the Black Dragon Squad? Oh jeez, there's something wrong with him. There's something wrong with Joey, alright, Malairica. Not quite what you think. What's the matter, boss? Do you remember anything? Anything at all? All I know is that I don't know what the heck you two are talking about. What's going on? You're way too young to have memory lapses, boss. I should know. I mean, You're way too young to have memory lapses, boss. You're the leader of a band of honest thieves called the Black Dragon Squad. We're planning our next attack when... Lights out. Who'd have thought that would cause memory loss? What are we gonna do? Not to worry, my friend. Once we get our fearless leader into battle, he'll feel more like himself. After all, he's the strongest marshal we've got. Marshal? Don't you remember anything? Ah, well, a marshal is... A marshal is... The man called Giselle carefully explained what a marshal is. Thankfully, we don't have to go through the tutorial a third time. And that about covers it. Any questions? Yeah, I think I got the picture. Does it seem a little dark in here to you guys? Examine his head again, will you? Of course it's dark. It's night. Really? Well then, I guess that makes sense. What did you say we were doing? Planning the next move for the Black Dragon Squad? Oh, who does the spell checking on that? More like it, boss. It should be that's more like it. Man, we really need to fire the proofreaders. Let's get down to business. Our next target is an Imperial supply unit that'll be passing through Anchor Hill. Just take a look at this map here. As if I didn't have enough trouble already, now this! Wonder if Yugi and the others are okay. Guess I'll just have to search for them while I fight my way out of this mess. Accepting his role in the Black Dragon Squad, Joey plans to attack a supply unit dispatched to quell the rebels. He's about to embark on his strategy of stealing supplies from the Empire while growing his number. So, it already assumes that we know what we're doing, and we've got new monsters to meet. We have Cyber Soldier, Axe Raider, Rocket Warrior, Illusionist, Faceless Mage, Ghoul with an Appetite and Dharma Cannon, and Fairy's Gift, Embodied of Apophis and Tao the Chanter. Let's take a look at them, shall we? So, there's Axe Raider, Cyber Soldier. Now, they obviously have no items. Field Adept, Road Adept, Road Adept and Armor. Rocket Warrior comes with Rocket Boost Attack because you'll notice it starts at level 62. And there we go, they've got all their techniques. Giselle's team. Illusionist, Faceless Mage. Now, level 2 magic. Dharma Cannon's actually going to be pretty handy in that regard, because as we've seen, Hinotama is very useful. Illusionist, Faceless Mage has Night Adept and level 4 magic, so this team could actually be pretty strong for Giselle. But I do want to switch things around and change off Ghoul with an Appetite. Malairika's monsters. Level 3 magic, as we've seen. Castle Adept and level 3 magic, so fairly solid monsters. Ultimate Unity. So that has a good chance to slow down and the enemy. Jeez Louise, they really didn't have very good proofreaders, did they? So that can slow down the enemy and reduce its action points. So Fairy's Gift we've seen. Its standard attack can't be dodged, and you can also wind up healing your team. So I'm going to change Giselle's team around a little bit. I'll remove Ghoul with an Appetite and replace it with a level 1 monster, so that we can get a bit of training into some of our team. Now, let's see. What should I be training? So I've got at least some experience in a lot of the monsters we had. I'll probably put Creole on the team. Now, let's get everything outfitted. We want a Book of Secret Arts. Let's give it that, and let's flick down to give it Raime. Dharma Cannon will get the Red Medicine, the Shock Shell, and the Hinotama. And then I'll take a bit of time to wind up taking items off other monsters. We'll prepare our teams. I'll show you what they are when we actually get to the chapter, rather than sort of mucking around like this. Note that Rocket Warrior, which is a warrior, is actually a machine. I'm going to give Joey another warrior monster. What's a good... Garuzus is a good monster for Joey. So, I'll keep Rocket Warrior around, I'll prepare the teams, and I'll do some research on some monsters we need to find, because we're going to have a few challenges along the way.
Hey boss, I just got word that the supply unit for Nephil is at Twin Rivers. They don't even have a marshal to defend them. This should be a piece of cake. Let's hit them fast and hard. This'll be the best thing for you, boss, trust me.
Alright, so we have to free Twin Rivers, and let's see, we've got flyers coming in hot. We can't use equipment yet, which is kind of strange. But I'll have my team set up to defend the base. Giselle first, then Malairika, then Joey. Thunder Dragon will just sort of lumber along, but we do have a few monsters to find, so this will be pretty interesting. Bit of work to do. Now I'll keep I'll keep those ones on hand for these teams, because they do at least have one fiend on them, and this one can get ripped apart by Joey's team. Note that we do have some pretty strong monsters. We should be able to use equipment next time, but we'll get ready for our battles.
Axe Raider made its international debut in Tournament Pack 1, then reappeared reasonably often. In Japan it debuted in Booster 4 and made fairly frequent appearances as well. Probably the most notable element for Axe Raider, at least for me and my brother, was that elements of its in-game model here made us think of Captain Falcon. It has a somewhat similar visor over the eyes. Anyway, Axe Raider was a fairly solid monster for its time, and while it's not spectacular now, it can still be a pretty serviceable monster in the right circumstances when you're playing the card game. If you need a good early game monster, it's pretty handy. In this game, a well-trained Axe Raider will hit with Falcon style force and attack fairly often on top of that. It will definitely show you its moves.
Alright, first fight's up, and the battle music is a little different. As I've mentioned, it does actually change between all the stories. So I think we have a fairly capable team here, but we'll see how we all wind up going, of course. Let's see, they've just waited, haven't they? They've only got 4 AP. Yeah. So there we are, we start dishing out damage with Dharma Cannon. Not too bad. Okay, so that one gets to guard, and you can tell that the turn order is kind of crap. I was complaining about that significantly when it came to Chapter 18 of Kaiba's story. Well, maybe that one actually... Wow, we got the critical. So let's just keep dishing out the damage. The little variations in the battle music do tend to be quite nice as far as I'm concerned. Adds just a little extra flair. Why does that one always wind up getting to go? Yeah, so lots of jank in the turn order, but that doesn't really matter too much. We'll just have to play our cards right, so to speak, and dish out a lot of damage. This one's a little odd if you just play it out through the beginning teams, but if you add a few more things along the way, I was hoping we'd get to use equipment because we've already got that option. Oh, why didn't I do that? I'm stupid. Completely forgot about that. Would have made life a lot easier. Oh, not enough. Just not enough to take him down. And I probably should have put some good healing magic on Illusionist Faceless Mage. Well, let's just sort of pile on the damage this way. I don't think we're winning this fight, which is a little unfortunate. At least not straight out. Oh, it's only got red medicine. Let's see. Not being able to use that barricade is a real pain in the butt. It's probably screwed up my training strategy a little bit, but we'll persevere. We'll gradually start to take that down. And yeah, look, I'm probably going to wind up losing some of Giselle's team, but that doesn't quite matter too much. Take him down with me. And of course, you never know what the AI is going to do. They may wind up doing something stupid, so I'll give you a trade-off. And it's kind of sad that Dharma Cannon is probably the most powerful one on the team as a result of using Shock Shell. I mean, I can't lose the fight. We do unfortunately lose Dharma Cannon. So that does kind of put the kibosh on Giselle's effectiveness. Guards, it waits, it uses flamethrower, it went through the whole gamut of emotions there.
Artificial stupidity at its finest. So there we are. We lost Dharma Cannon, but it did output some seriously good damage as a result. Very nice. Good level up for Creole. That is a really terrible name, let's be honest. So we're just sort of... Rightio, Malairica is just going to have to take care of that team, and then I'll get Joey in. Because I didn't put any Monster Reborn. I wonder if I can use Red Medicine on it. But Ryu Kishin Powered is usually fairly fast, so it's a pretty good monster to have along as your team lead. Apart from the fact it missed. So, this team is really well set up. Now, if I go with Swords of Revealing Light, that should paralyze them, if I remember correctly. Good. And then we can target Ryu Kishin Powered and start beating the daylights out of it. Whew, good damage. So again, this team not super strong. I do have some pretty effective... pretty effective magic on it, in all fairness. This is actually proving really handy. Do not underestimate level 2 magic. Do not underestimate that ability of Hinotama to hit all your opponents with good solid chip damage. Okay, now if I remember correctly, Tao's ultimate unity can reduce the opponent's action points. As we saw there, it's a little weird sometimes having those attacks work, but they can be very handy when that additional effect does wind up procuring. It won't always do that, it's worth noting, so don't rely on it, but when it does, it actually helps quite a lot. Anything that can cut down AP is significantly advantageous. To see what happens when I actually bother to use some sort of paralyzing spell from the off. Now this is hardly the strongest team, but it's doing very well all things considered. Embodiment of Apophis being Castle Adept is a good option for defending. So, let me guess. No, it didn't wind up procuring that time. I was fully expecting it to lose an AP as soon as it was about to die. Because, of course, it goes like that. Oh well, just gotta basically chip away with it, and we're then pretty much done, and we just have to wait for Thunder Dragon to get here. So we've got a lot of monsters to fit in, because we not only have these ones, but we have 3 more to find. So this could be a bit of a toughie. Malairica is probably going to be the best option for actually going to find them. Because he can at least keep his team in really good condition, and we've got... They got one attack, the first attack of the battle, and it missed. Paralysis is broken in this game. If it doesn't wear off, oh boy. So pretty much flawless victory for Malairica. Let's get on to those profiles now, shall we? Lot to share. Cyber Soldier has never made an international appearance. In Japan, it debuted and made its only appearance in Volume 7. And well, it's another normal monster that was pretty much, well, actually, dead on arrival. What a letdown compared to Axe Raider. Honestly, this thing really isn't even Flash at all. I have no idea why it has Soldier written on it. Would it forget its job if it didn't have the reminder painted on it? Would it wind up doing something else if you painted a different, completely random word on it? Cyber Soldier does actually serve the Machine King according to its flavor text though, so we can presume it is actually decent at doing its job. even if it breathes fire to attack instead of rolling, according to its flavor text in this game. Also, what's with the feathers that appear to be on its head? Rocket Warrior made its international debut in 2005's Collector Tins, and made a few appearances in Battle City themed sets. In Japan, it debuted as a valuable book promo card and in Joey's structure deck. Rocket Warrior brings its signature skill along for the ride. Its special attack hits an opponent's monster hard and cuts their attack by 500 points, which can be fairly handy for longer battles. It's an interesting choice in the card game, and can be useful if used well, but it really shines in this game. It's a solid contender and comes at a good level, so it'll be effective in anyone's hands right off the bat. On top of that, being treated as a machine instead of a warrior means it gets the very helpful Shock Shell. Ready it for launch, and away it goes! Ghoul with an Appetite has never made an international appearance. In Japan, it debuted and made its only appearance in Volume 7, like Cyber Soldier. Now okay, on stats alone, this monster is not entirely horrible. It's not great, but let's be honest, worse exists. Overall though, there really isn't a lot to say about this that I haven't already said about various normal monsters of varying quality. I do wonder why it has a portal in its belly. Unlike its counterpart Gate Deek, which is basically the same thing but brown and weaker, and fellow belly portal zombie Ill Blood, this one having a portal means its food will fall out. Maybe that's why it's always hungry. That probably wasn't the best idea for it.
Alright, brief interruption in our profile to tear apart a dragon team. This shouldn't be too much trouble. Our opponents do not have any healing whatsoever. Thunder Dragon's not super strong, but we can take it out of the picture very quickly with a couple of blows from Garuzus and Axe Raider. Rocket Warrior will just do solid damage, since it has very, very strong AP. Now this should put Thunder Dragon out of the fight. There we are. And it's just going to be a bit of a cruise from here, in all fairness. I do tend to associate Joey with... Wait a minute. That's a little unusual. Let me just check. Alright, Garuzus is having the heat turned up on it, but won't be too much trouble, like I said. Joey, I do tend to associate with warrior monsters quite a lot. I suppose it's because of the anime that where quite a few of his monsters actually are strong warrior types or beast warriors along the way. Just sort of adds to the image, really. It does have Shock Shell. Just wonder why it didn't work, that's all. Well, we'll get the team healed in due course. And there we are, good, solid damage. Might be able to do a little bit of damage to us, but... And there we are, that fight is over very quickly. Get the right items and boy, you can pick your battles well. So we'll get back to the profiles as we go monster hunting. Garuzus powers through the levels. Well done!
Illusionist Faceless Mage made its international debut in Metal Raiders and Pegasus Starter Deck. In Japan it debuted in Volume 7, reappearing in similar circumstances to the international game. Now this card is combining creepy dolls and mime in the card art, so it's not exactly batting 1,000 here. This monster is most famous for its appearance in the manga and anime, where it had a very useful spell called Eye of Illusion, which I think pops up in this game. It was also a rare card which Yugi hadn't seen before, and it had the advantage over Dark Magician due to being an illusion magic monster, thus having the edge over black magic monsters. No such fancy tricks here, but it will turn out pretty dependable despite its creepy appearance. In due time its attack paralyzes opponents, and I've got a bit of a rant about that later. Dharma Cannon made its international debut and only appearance in Tournament Pack 2. In Japan, it debuted and made its only appearance in their premium pack. Dharma Cannon really isn't that great, even if it supposedly never misses its targets. After all, it can actually miss its attacks in this game. However, Dharma Cannon does bear the interesting distinction of not having its firearms censored in the TCG releases. Maybe it's so insignificant in the great scheme of things they figured no one would notice if they skipped this particular one. And yet for all its crumminess, I seem to like this monster quite a bit. I like the fact it does seem to be not only inspired by an actual Dharma, but also looks a bit like a Dharma Otoshi like Dharamaka. I suppose my interests are a little odd, but it's pretty cool to me. Fairy's Gift made its international debut as a McDonald's promo, and it reappeared in Legendary Collection Yugi's World. In Japan it debuted in limited edition Jonochi Pack, then appeared in Tournament Pack 2007 Volume 4. Imagine how awkward it would have been going for the McDonald's promos back in the day. You had to endure crap food, or at least what charitably passes for food, but only if you're desperate and haven't eaten in a week or something like that. And in return you got cards like this, unless you were really lucky and got Cosmo Queen or Millennium Shield. Maybe it was worth something as a collector, but even then the food certainly wasn't. Okay, it does have kind of nice art, but in the TCG, Fairy's Gift is a bit useless. It's handy in this game because its special attack heals all allies, so keep it around. Embodied of Apophis made its international debut as a Shonen Jump promo, reappeared in Dark Legends, and showed up a few more times since. In Japan it debuted as a Jump promo but has appeared fewer times. Now, one of the monsters in this game, this particular one, is very different to the others because it is the only trap card monster which appears in the game. Embodied of Apophis, the Greek name of the demon Apep, which Ra battled each day before returning to the east to rise as the sun, is the first one released. A pretty decent deck can actually be built from trap monsters these days, even though they do have the problem of clogging up your spell and trap card zone. Now, according to my sources, Embodied of Apophis really hates Jinzo and would gladly kill it at the first opportunity. Can't imagine why that might be the case. Tao the Chanter has never made an international appearance. In Japan, it debuted and made its only appearance there in Volume 4. Now at first glance, this may look like an entirely forgettable normal monster, and it is in all fairness. Presumably being forgotten has left it kind of scrawny and with rickets or something like that, judging by its card art. Its arms look incredibly thin and those wrists do not appear to be twisting in a very healthy way. However, Tao will actually be pretty useful in this game. I know I say that a lot, but Tao's attacks actually have a chance to remove the opponent's AP, and its special attack will remove 1 AP from each opponent and slow down their turn order. That's a really useful skill in this game, honestly.
Goodo, we've found them! So, our monsters are Invitation to a Dark Sleep, Serpent Night Dragon, and Swordstalker. And they're potentially tough customers, however, we should be able to soften them up pretty well with our magic. That will be the main concern. Our strongest enemy is probably Serpent Night Dragon. So I don't know if Sleep Wave ever gets the ability to paralyze opponents. I'm probably not interested in finding out, but let's focus our fire and hope for the best. Mind you, we should be able to do alright with, as I mentioned, all that magic. So we basically shut them down and then spam magic with Tao the Chanter. Also, enemies are starting to come back, which is going to be a bit of a nuisance. Joey will have to muscle his way through those goons. Giselle is unfortunately out of commission, But then again, I could have Malaerica turn around and battle Nephil. You might remember, Nephil was actually a boss in chapter 7, I think it is, of Kaiba's story. So it's nice to see those little callbacks and enemies making a return. Man, this is seriously good stuff. Alright, one down already. Might as well be cost effective. I mean, seriously, if I've got it, I'm using it. So I'll probably have Joey ride out the goon squad and then Malaerica attack the base. And there we are. It missed. If I dish this one out, Tao the Chanter should be able to finish him off with Hinotama. Never underestimate that. It might just be chip damage, but this has been seriously good chip damage. I'm just surprised at how useful it's been. Very pleasantly surprised. So, just like the start, these guys got to attack once, and absolutely nothing happened. Malaerica will give you one chance, you will miss, and you will die. Wow. And an absolutely vicious rout. Admittedly, Tao is running out of steam in terms of Hinotama. I probably don't have much of that left. But the rematch battles will give me the opportunity. Joey can head those guys off at the pass, and then Malaerica can take on the boss, and we've got three new monsters. Alright, Joey, get ready for a good scrap.
Serpent Knight Dragon made its international debut in Spell Ruler and reappeared quite a few times along the way. In Japan, it debuted as a video game tournament promo, only reappearing in Premium Pack 3. Serpent Knight Dragon being easier to find in the TCG compared to the OCG is an oddity, but there you go. It's not spectacular per se, its stats aren't great but they're not entirely horrible, but it does have an interesting lore connection with Seiya-Ryu. Its Japanese name is Evil Knight Dragon, Seiya-Ryu means Holy Knight Dragon. As you can see, the international translators botched it a little. This was actually an ace of Rex Raptors, which he wound up losing to Esperoba. In some video games, Serpent Knight Dragon is a ritual monster and bears the divine attribute as a result, though why I don't know. Invitation to a Dark Sleep made its international debut and only appearance in Pharaoh's Servant. In Japan it debuted in Thousand Eyes Bible, one of the sets which made up the international Pharaoh's Servant. Invitation to a Dark Sleep really isn't that significant in all fairness. It does have a useful effect to a degree, and it probably would have been helpful in the early days of the game, but it wasn't fantastic since this monster would be fairly easy to defeat in battle. Its effect also doesn't work if it's special summoned, which is a complete nuisance. Overall, it's a bit forgettable, mostly notable for its Japanese name including Lucifer. Religion, guns, anything remotely sexy usually gets the boot for international YuGiOh. Swordstalker made its international debut in Kaiba's starter deck, appearing in his battle pack as well. In Japan, it debuted and made its only appearances in the EX starter box, so it's been out of commission for some time there. Swordstalker actually had a pretty interesting effect in its first appearance, where it gained 1/4 of the recently destroyed Ryu Kishin powered attack. That ties in well enough with its lore and would have actually made it a pretty cool card, but ever since, Swordstalker has been a normal monster. It does have something of an association with Kaiba, but it's really not a spectacular monster overall. It is honestly a little surprising that it has made more international appearances compared to its very, very limited ones in Japan.
You stinking lousy thieves! You'll pay for this!
Actually, we're going to get it all for free, Neffel. You're in a bit of trouble. So, Neffel has the same team, just with different levels, as when we battled him way back in Kaiba's story. But I just love the boss battle music in Joey's story. Well, listen for a bit. I think this is based on a free battle theme from one of the previous games, but it's absolutely beautiful. I'm not sure how best to describe it. It just sounds so elegant, so beautiful. There's a certain grace to it. It's sort of encourages you to take the enemy on. It's like, alright, let's do this, let's dance. It almost is like some sort of strange waltz or something like that in a way. It just really feels like it's firing you up and urging you to take the fight head on. And there we go, 2 down already. We've handled this one pretty easily. Things might be a bit tougher next time. Giselle will have to do a bit more because one of his team is dead. I need to revise his healing as well. Any monsters that we didn't get to meet today will go into the next episode. Plenty to get around to in all fairness, and that has dispatched Neffel effortlessly. I nearly thought my attack had missed, but then I'm like, yeah, that's right, it can't. Very smooth. Nice, more AP for Embodied of Apophis, always handy. It's got good strength. It's good stats all round. So, a successful raid.
See, boss, I told you we could take those guys. Look at all these supplies. Let's get the supplies back to our hideout. No reason to hang around here.
So, Neffel would continue being completely useless, and we also don't get any items for this, which kind of contradicts what Giselle said. But yeah, Neffel would continue being completely useless for the Imperial Army until Kaiba came along. Anyway, we've made a good start to the Black Dragon Army, or Black Dragon Thieves, whatever they're called, and, well, we're ready for the next one. Thank you very much for joining me. Until next time, this is Red 2 returning to base.